Welcome to the Data Science Lab, everybody. My name is Libby. I'm a data community manager here at Posit, and I am joined by two of my co-hosts behind the scenes who you might already know. One is Isabella Velasquez. Isabella, do you want to say hello?
Hi everyone. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we also have Daniel Chen. Dan, you want to say hi?
Hello, everyone.
I'm really excited to introduce our featured guests at the lab today, Isabel Zimmerman and Davis Vaughan. They're both software engineers here at Posit working on Positron. Isabel, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. So, hello everyone. I am Isabel Zimmerman. I'm a software engineer on the Positron team. Libby just said all of that. Some other non-Libby facts I am also, I saw someone from Tampa-ish, Florida. I'm also a Tampa-ish, Florida person.
Oh,
Losing
nice.
my voice today. I was at Epic Universe Mario World this weekend.
Oh,
It was amazing. It was everything
that
you want it
sounds
to be.
that
Yeah.
sounds so fun. Oh my goodness.
I work on a lot of the Python experience on Positron. I also bop around to some like UI things, but my main focus is Python. That's because I also run some of the Python packages here at Posit. So if you're familiar with pins or vetiver in Python, that is some of the things that I have created and maintained. So super excited to be here with everyone today.
Amazing. Davis, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Davis Vaughan. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. As Libby said, I'm on the Positron team, but I also do a lot of just R things in general. So Isabel's the Python side. I work on the R side. Um, in addition to Positron, I work on things like dplyr and tidyr and a number of other R packages. And I'm the co-creator of Air if you're using that for R formatting.
Nice. And we're going to talk about air today, which I'm really excited about. Um, and I also want to just let everybody know how today will work because this is new. If you're used to the data science hangout, we talk, we chat with people, we find out about their journey to where they are. We talk about career questions, data science leadership questions, technical questions. Today is going to be all about sharing our screens, walking through stuff, and just being with you all as a community about the technical stuff. Today is going to be all about positron settings. So we are going to talk about what settings we love to replicate stuff that we love in other places or things that help our workflow. And I will get started by just sharing my screen with positron on it and walking through just some basics. So here we go. I'm going to really hope that I share the right stuff. Okay, you should see my positron screen. Does everybody see that? Yes, Davis says yes. I get a thumbs up. Fantastic. Okay, so here is my positron setup with my theme, and this is going to be like the most basic stuff ever from me. I'm going to let Davis and Isabel do the more fun stuff, but I would also really love to know from everybody in the chat what stuff you have questions about. If you have a question for Davis or Isabel, please put it in the Slido. Or what stuff that you are really excited about that you've customized your positron to include. I know that Isabel is going to talk about rainbow indentation or rainbow parentheses, which I would really love for my own uses. What I would love to talk about is format on save. So the little search bar up here is not always a search bar, right? Sometimes it is a Command Shift P palette. This is like a command palette where once you have this little sideways greater than symbol, you can do a ton of stuff inside of Positron. This is where you can do things like your settings. You can open your settings either in JSON or a UI. I'm going to open the UI. But if you see people doing things in JSON and settings, if you're coming from RStudio and you're like, what are these JSON things? This is where it is. Open user settings JSON. It's just a file with really simple JSON in it that lets you toggle things on and off. And when I open this in the UI, you're going to see some of these same things, right? Here's my theme. community material theme high contrast if you happen to like what I have going on here, which is kind of like a Dracula-ish theme. Um, I have my positron plots dark filter set to off, so it doesn't filter my plots with the same dark filter. And here is my autosave on focus change, and then also my format on save true. And I'm gonna like make this slightly larger for everybody. What I did was command and the plus sign. That just like made everything a little bit larger. If you are sharing screens, that's fantastic to know. So I'm gonna do Command Shift P again and get back to my thing. And I'm gonna go to this like open settings UI so that you can see all of those same things. So format on save pulls up our format on save UI settings. I have this toggled to on. That's that true inside of the settings. And so what this does is it tells Positron that anytime I'm using R or Python, it's going to use either rough or air to automatically format the stuff that I put in there. Okay, so that's step one, checking this on. I also have it turned on for notebooks, but I think this is for the main editor, like .py.qmd files. And Davis and Isabel can stop me if I say something wildly wrong. Just hop in and be like, no, you're wrong. The other thing that I want to turn on in conjunction with this to make this really, really helpful for me is the autosave. All right, so I'm going to search for autosave, and then I am going to set this to on focus change. This happens to be what I like. You could do whatever you want. You could turn it off. I don't recommend that one. You could do after a certain delay and then set the delay, I think in milliseconds or something. But I like focus change. It says an editor with changes is automatically saved when editor loses focus. That means when I take my cursor out of my editor and put it anywhere else, right? Okay, so we're going to leave it on focus change. And when I go back to something like, for example, this, and I do something wacky here, and I like, let's just say I do this, my focus is in my editor window right now. If I take my focus and I put it somewhere else, it's automatically going to clean up my code for me. It doesn't matter how ridiculous my code looks and how wild everything is. And it also doesn't matter how big my file is. It's going to happen so fast the moment my focus leaves this and goes anywhere else, like my console pane, it's going to fix things. Oh, look, I love how it like respected the fact that I wanted that on another line, but it didn't fix this. Hilarious. All right, well, I'm going to save this file. And when I saved it, it fixed it. So it respects some things that you want with style, like if I want things on a separate line, but it'll clean stuff up. Okay, I'm hoping that that made sense for everybody. Format unsave, Renato says, true is a blessing. Yes, absolutely. And Renato also said RStudio keybindings. Great call out. I'm going to go over to settings. And over here, I'm just going to search RStudio. And the first thing that I see is that enable RStudio keybindings. And it does say, hey, this requires a restart. So you might have to restart, but I already have it checked. And that means that when I am working in R, I can do things like I can add a pipe with my pipe shortcut, my Command-Shift-M. And I have also added some things that help me have things more like R. For example, if I do Shift Enter, um, I get another comment, which is not normal. And I think that that is like one of my favorite things that I've added as a custom key binding, but we can talk about custom key bindings in just a second. So I'm going to hop over to the Slido and have Javier ask his question live. Javier, would you like to click that yes to unmute button and ask that live?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks. I didn't mean to interrupt you either, Libby. I'm sorry.
No, I'm done.
Because it's not entirely related to what you're showing right now.
That's okay. We're
So
going to hop over.
I I let me see. Can you see my video? Am I sharing my screen? Yeah, okay. Sorry.
You are not
I
sharing your
feel like a
screen.
boomer here. Okay. So basically I stopped using air only for the reason that like I'm continuously control saving on a script or anything I'm working on, and I would like my cursor to move along with the edits. So it does a great job of formatting, like amazing, right? But like I was getting frustrated that the code was kind of shifting up and down around my cursor as opposed to moving with the formatted code. I didn't know if that was a setting that maybe I'm missing or um yeah, if that's possible.
What a great question. I have not even like thought about this or experienced it. Davis or Isabel, do you have any thoughts on this? And you're
I'm
working in
trying
R
to,
hobby, right?
yeah,
It primarily are, yeah.
I'm trying to understand, so I'm just gonna share,
Let's
like
do it.
exactly what you're getting at here. Like if I'm here and I hit save, right? For me, that that feels like moving with my cursor. Like, do you have a different example that you know of that like doesn't feel like it moves with the cursor? Like,
So mine is I'm talking more about code edits that happen where not the row is changing necessarily, like not the row being formatted, but the overall script is being formatted. Yeah. So if I've got like exactly like a mutate call or yeah,
right, some
right,
other
something
things.
like this, and I've got comments in between. What where I've seen it happen is where it's like much longer scripts. Maybe I could try replicating it on my end. Sorry.
Sure, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, let me try replicating something and I'll just put it in the comments, like maybe the code.
Yeah, we can come
Yeah,
back if you find one you
Yeah, yeah.
like.
put it
Cool.
into a code chunk.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so Nathan says he has format on save turned on at the project level because he sometimes opens legacy code and doesn't want to reformat it at all. That is an excellent point. Would anybody like to hop in and talk about project level settings?
Isabel, do you want to?
Sure. So when you have settings, here I can share my screen perhaps. You can decide if you want it for like you as a user, like that's effectively your whole IDE unless you're using different spaces, which we can talk about if people are interested in making different like profiles. Um, or you can do it for a certain workspace. So you can have something just at a certain project. So maybe for my pins project, I always want it to format on save, but for something else, I don't. We actually use this in the Positron repo because there's a few different formatters in play with all of the different types of code that's happening in this IDE. So like when I'm actually building the Python extension, I don't have format on save set. When I'm opening it from one directory. But if I open it directly, I have it open. It does format on save. Just maybe a convoluted way of saying it's very customizable, and you can just click between these user and workspace settings. And if you change something, maybe something reasonable, like 16. It should say that like, it's got this little line it's changed for your user. And if you look at the workspace, now you say, hey, it's modified it for the user, but not for this workspace.
Awesome. I think that profiles are a good thing to talk about. Like Daniel had mentioned in the Discord chat that Hadley had said in Tidy Dev Day, he has the auto format on save turned off, so he doesn't trigger like new line trimming and other changes when he's working on other people's packages. Like if you're reviewing a PR, you're just like changing a ton of lines if you have that on all the time, right? So if you had a profile that was set up for doing PR reviews, or looking at someone else's code versus your own, I think that that would be really helpful. I have never used profiles. Is that something that anybody would like to talk about? That's something that I have like room to learn and grow in.
I am not a profile user, but I know I've talked to people who use profiles, and I know like Mina is someone who uses profiles a lot because she has one for teaching. She's a professor. So one for teaching, one for development work. So she'll have all of the font sizes much larger for teaching or a different setup. And if you want to play around with this, I can quickly share again.
Yeah, and this was Nathan's question from the Slido. Thank you for asking, Nathan.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Oops, let me rearrange so I can click around Zoom.
No worries. I
So
know sharing screen's
there's,
hard.
yeah. If you go to the gear at the bottom left corner and then click on profiles, you'll get this. And I think you can just click new profile and configure all of your settings. Yeah, I'm not a user, but I've heard people have really interesting use cases, even to have like a different theme for different workspaces and things like that.
Yes. Okay. So what I have seen people do is set up profiles for the different stuff that they need to do, the different hats they need to wear for their job. So they might have like a code review one. They might have one that is set up for analysis for like this is what I like to happen during analysis, and then they might have one set up for data engineering. This is what I like this to look like when I'm doing data engineering in Python. I think that that's really exciting. I haven't used any of them yet either myself. I need to set them up and play around with them. Nathan, thank you for asking that question. It was fantastic. And Zach, you had asked a question as well that I do not know the answer to. So I want to ask Davis. Zach usually has an asterisk next to his question, so I'm going to read it for you, Zach. I hope that's okay. It says, minor question. Is there a way to make it so that the other pipe symbol is used when using Control+Shift+M? So you saw me when I shared my screen. It was the native R pipe for my Command-Shift-M. Davis, do you know if you can use the magrittr pipe by default?
Yeah, thanks to Jenny, I think,
Aw,
who's
thanks,
also
Jenny.
here. Yeah. So in your settings, for me, command comma will also bring me right there. You can search for pipe. And thanks to Jenny, there is an option here where you can choose the magrittr pipe if you want to as your default,
Nice. Thank you. And yeah, command comma is
which brings up the
excellent.
same thing as settings, open user settings.
Yeah, and
Not in the
it
JSON
automatically
form, the
opens
UI
the
form.
UI, right?
Yeah, automatically opens the UI. So command comma goes to the UI.
Yes, and that's a fantastic thing to sort of like share about in general is key bindings. I have a custom key binding, which I don't mind showing everybody. I'll share my screen, but I also just kind of want to show where you can find key bindings. So I'm gonna again do my Command Shift P to get to my command palette, and then I'm gonna just type the word keyboard. The command palette inside of Positron is smart. You don't have to type in like developer toggle keyboard shortcuts troubleshooting, right? You could just type in keyboard, and it's going to find everything that might uh, be that. And then I'm going to open the keyboard shortcuts. This is the UI. This is the JSON. I'm just going to open the UI for right now. And I'm going to show you how you can sort of search this. So um, this search bar up here is looking for a string. It's looking for something like shift plus enter, right? Which is going to pull up all the shift enters. But you can also just type in the shortcut that you're looking for. And I think that that's this one. So you press this little keyboard button and it says recording keys and it's listening now. So I can hit shift enter and it's going to put in shift enter and find all of the key bindings that are mapped to shift enter. If you are an RStudio user, this might look a little foreign to you. That's okay. One important thing to note is this when clause right here. I will show you what this looks like in JSON, but there's a when clause inside of each of these key bindings that tells Positron when to use this key binding, right? So for example, all of these shift enters, there are so many of them. There's so many of them. They don't step on each other because of this when clause. So when the editor is in focus, and you are looking for, I don't know what find input focus is, it's going to use find previous for this. Like it's magical, it's amazing, it's confusing. And if you want to see mine, see it says user right there. All of these are from the system. These are from the installed things that I have, like Corto, Python, Jupyter. Um, but this user one is mine. It's a snippet. And it's when the editor text is in focus and when the editor is R. So I don't have this turned on for when I'm using Python. I wanted it to replicate RStudio. And the way that I did that, I'm going to go back to Command-Shift-P. Oops, nope, that's not what I wanted. I want my
This is
command
the
palette.
worst. And I always get confused right there when I'm recording the keys and then I forget to hit unrecord and it's like it ate my keys.
It will eat all of your keys, y'all. If you leave that little keyboard thing, anything you type in there is going to end up here. Okay, so let's go to the JSON version, and this is where my snippet lives, so you can see what my snippet looks like. And if you use R, it kind of looks like an RStudio code snippet as well. So I want it to use Shift Enter. I want it to do the action called Insert Snippet. This is my when clause. I want it to be when the editor language is R and when the editor text is in focus. And when that happens and I click Shift Enter, I wanted to enter a new line and a hash symbol so that I am ready to type my next comment because I relied on that function in RStudio for so long, I can't live without it. Okay, and then I can save that and away I go. So I hope that that's helpful for somebody out there. And this will be recorded so you can go back and like watch this. But if you have any questions about it in the Discord, we will absolutely help you. And I'm going to go ahead and stick that snippet in a code chunk in the Discord right now. Code snippet to enter new comment in R. Okay. I would love it if we could hop over to Isabel to talk about what you would like to talk about because I want to put this on mine as well.
Yes, so I have, let me minimize those things again. A few of my maybe favorite things that I customize. So I use rainbow tabs. I think I'd said rainbow parentheses, but it's ooh, so large now.
It's
Rainbow
like
tabs.
the spaces, right? The space tabs.
Yep. So if you can see, I don't know how good the contrast is for y'all, but you can see this is like vaguely yellow, vaguely green, vaguely pink. And so it just helps, as you're getting some like nested, like really just adds some readability, especially when you're looking at a lot of different code. So this is actually an extension. It's called Indent Rainbow. You do Indent Rainbow. So it's this one by Odorwatt, um, is the creator. It's available on VSIX, or OpenVSX. So this is what I like to use for especially writing Python code. Um, oh, I know I just put in the Discord a URL for any setting. If you click on the little gear next to it, you can copy the setting as a URL and share it with your friends.
Oh my gosh, I did
Um,
not know that. Can you show that one more time?
yeah, so any setting, if you don't want to like screenshot it or like tell people, look at this in the settings, as long as somebody has Positron installed, it'll look something like this.
Oh, that's
Obviously, because
so
this is a
cool.
URL, it won't work right
And I
here. But
like
if you
that you
were,
can copy it as JSON too.
yes, that is very convenient. You can even get the setting ID, and that's a really easy way to get people directly to the setting that you want.
Oh my gosh. This is so
Um,
helpful. Joey's also a little mind blown. I
yeah,
love it. So you click on the gear.
correct. There's a lot of helpful things in this little gear. If you're a profile user, I just realized you can apply it to all profiles as well. So you've got some options there. Um,
Amazing. Okay, I'm going to turn this on immediately.
okay, so
What about rainbow parentheses though?
I think, okay, I know Julia uses it. I don't remember which one it's called.
I have seen
I use,
someone use it and I'm like, I want this. I miss it from RStudio.
I am not sure. I use rainbow tabs. If we just type in rainbow, will it get us there?
I don't
Rainbow
know.
HTML? I don't know.
Rainbow indent. If you have favorite extensions, hop over to Slido and put it in a question and just let us know what your favorite extension is.
I think it might be
My
rainbow brackets.
rainbow brackets.
Or is that on? I'm not sure if it's on OpenVSX.
There's perhaps a bracket pair colorizer.
It
Or
says it's become
bracket.
native in VS Code too.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go
Interesting.
open my settings. I hope everybody is coding along.
I think something else, I am somebody who tends to collect a lot of Pythons. So if you are like me and have like a million different places, there's a Python on your computer. Um, you can see I've got so many PyEnvs, I've got some globals, I've got some UV, and this is actually the cleaned up version if you think this is a lot of interpreters. So I actually use something that's Python interpreters exclude, and this is in R as well. So I hide from my dropdown everything that's in user, anything that's in my home.local. Or if you have maybe an R installed in a weird location and it's not being found, or Python, you can add items here and you can just add paths.
Oh,
So I know,
this is amazing. This solves a problem that I had for so long. Okay, this is fantastic.
so it's Python or R interpreters include interpreters. Wow, I really cannot type.
It's okay.
So, um, yeah, interpreters include, exclude, they're there. So if we're not finding your interpreters the way you want, you can customize that as well. I think one other thing that's just general customization, I tend to move things around a lot. I really like putting my terminal over here. Um, sometimes, sometimes I don't. So I guess just a call out to know that you can rearrange all of these little pieces and put it wherever you want. Um, you
And
can
she's just
also,
clicking and dragging, by the way, everybody.
correct. You can also right click on these different panes and hide or show different icons, which I think I did not realize. And the day I did, I hid so many things from my sidebar
Yeah,
that
you
it
can
felt
also
like a
move
whole
that
new
sidebar to the
experience.
top too, if you really want. There are
Mm.
all kinds of view things that you can do. So you can move your primary bar wherever you want it. And then also, if you're really into hiding stuff, you can just hit Command Shift P, and I'll share my screen really quickly and show you what this looks like. So you, wherever you are, like I'm gonna head back over to just a QMD file. You can do Command Shift P then and have it all go away, which I sometimes really like if I just want to look at code. And then you can hop back, Command Shift P your way there. And that's really, really helpful. I also wanted to make sure that I called on a couple of people to ask some questions really quickly because I saw some good ones, and to share stuff. So first of all, Edward Clayton says extension Rainbow CSV is necessary. Okay, fantastic. I'm going to go explore Rainbow CSV. There was another one. Marlene says to look into, oh, Marlene, are you talking about RStudio for Rainbow parentheses, tools, global option code? That is in RStudio, but it could be something that you're looking at in Positron.
Yeah, double check
Marlene,
Positron. But you're right, that was RStudio. I know I've
yeah,
seen the rainbow parentheses because I have it turned on in Positron.
I've seen other people use it. We're going to get there. Okay.
Yeah.
Nathan says agree to the Rainbow CSV extension. Okay. So why don't we go look at one more extension actually while I grab a question from Slido. An extension that I really like because the file pane is not always like my favorite thing, um, is the enter folder one. See how it says enter folder right there? I can open a folder and have it be the only thing that I see, and then I can go back. And so that is the enter folder extension. This one, it's like a yellow folder with an enter button. I really enjoy that because I want to be able to like just get into one thing and look at it and not, especially when I have really busy folders. So like if I went up here into my Piety Tuesday one, which I'm not going to do right now, you would see absolute wild craziness. By the way, if you don't know, there's a little upper right hand corner thing where you've got your like most recent projects and stuff up there, which is really, really handy. Okay, back to Slido. I'm going to mark some stuff as answered, so they might disappear. Don't worry, don't worry. Um, okay, Nathan, you had a question. Do you want to unmute and ask that one live? It's a small one, but it does not matter. It was about the user level, project level settings, because I think it's important.
Oh, yeah. Um, and actually it just got answered in the chat. So there,
Fantastic.
yeah, I think Jenny Isabel sent a link to the setting hierarchy.
Okay, fantastic. For everybody who is not in the chat because you're watching on YouTube later, do you want to give a little rundown? Or wait,
I'm
I can go
happy
back.
to.
Yes, that would be great.
So like you can kind of think of it as like a funnel, and the most granular settings are going to be put at the top of the hierarchy. So if you have something at the workspace, it's going to go over like your user. Your user is going to go over like the default. And there's also, I did put the link in chat for folks. So the more
Fantastic.
granular the setting level, um, the it'll be put on the top.
So user top, workspaces underneath user,
Workspace would go above user. Because if you think of
workspace
user
first.
as all of your settings for all of your positron, and then a workspace would be your settings for just one folder or something like that.
Okay.
The way I think about it is like the actual file for those workspace settings is closer to the code that it actually like has an effect on. And so like the workspace settings are closer to the actual project that you're working on. So they override any user settings, which are further
Oh,
away,
yes. That
right?
makes perfect sense. So it's not like my user has all of these workspaces underneath it and all of those are going to use the user. It's more like this is what I want if I don't tell you what to do in your workspace, but then in the workspace, if I tell you what to do, override my user settings.
Exactly.
Okay. Perfect. That, yeah, Nathan says that is a great way to think about it. I needed that. Nathan, thank you so much for asking your question. We are 40 minutes in somehow, and I would like Davis to hop in and talk about at least one of his favorite settings. So Davis, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, there's one thing in particular I think people will find useful. Let's see. So in RStudio, there's this like find function slash file type of shortcut that I used all the time. And in Positron, like for a long time, I was like, I missed this thing. Like, how do I get this? Because
What was the RStudio shortcut?
uh,
Do you
it's a great
remember?
question.
Put you on the
I'd have
spot.
to fire up my trusty RStudio for the first time in forever. Let's see. That's one of these. Control dot on my Mac would be like
Okay.
go to file slash function. And let me show you like what it looks like in dplyr. So like in dplyr, if I hit control dot, there's a file called arrange, and that would be arrange.r here, but it also lists like functions in the project. So if I wanted to go to the function arrange rows, like everything is just listed together, so I can jump straight to arrange rows. And I jump around a lot when like I'm working on an R package. So over here in Positron and dplyr, like if I did the same thing with like command P and I just started typing in arrange, like the default is just to show you files. But I really missed the symbols. Like to get the symbols, you would have to do like the like hash symbol, and then you could type in arrange. And I could never remember this. Like I always just hit Command P and expect it to work. There's a setting called search, quick open, include symbols, and we can post this in a second. And if you set that to true, then it works much more like RStudio, where if I hit just again Command P now and type in arrange, it includes both the file and the symbols. So if I want to jump to arrange rows, I can jump straight to it. So this for me
I
was
love
like
it.
a game changer, and like I totally missed this from RStudio and was super sad that I could not find this.
Oh
But
my goodness.
yeah.
Nathan has one as well, just to call out Nathan again, that like he set up as I think it was a snippet, right, Nathan? He shared it earlier in the chat. Nathan, if you want to share it again, feel free. Because he missed the ability to quickly just do the click a data set to import it when I think when it's a .rds file. So I will let him share his solution around that. And I think that Julia saw it. I think I sent it to Julia and she was like, this is a great idea. We're going to add this as an issue. It just goes to show, go work out loud, go like make a blog post of the thing that you do, share it with people because it's often a great idea to not just you, but to other people. Okay, so we had a couple of good questions, and Isabella behind the scenes was like letting me know that cool questions exist. Thank you so much, Isabella. And one was about, let me see if I can go find it. It was about shifting focus using keyboard shortcuts. So in RStudio, Control+1 in the console, Control+2 in the terminal, or function F12, like next tab or script. Is there a way to do that focus shifting inside of Positron? Davis or Isabella, do you know? Because I do not know.
I can say a little bit, and
Go for
let
it.
me start, and then you can add anything extra. So if you do add the like RStudio key binding setting, this is the list of things that like you get from that adding that setting of saying like I want to use RStudio key bindings. And one of them
Ah,
is
there it
like if you
is.
do control or what is that? Yeah, Control+1, it focuses on like the code. If you do Control+2, it focuses on the console. So if that's what you're looking for, that does exist if you opt into the RStudio key binding settings.
Perfect. That's extremely helpful. I don't know if that exists for Python. I like being able to turn it on for RStudio, but
Let's see. Yeah.
I wonder if you turn on those key bindings in RStudio. I think that they all have the when clause sort of like applying only to the R language. Um, but I bet you could go modify that to include Python maybe. There's so
That
many
was
things that
gonna
you can just
be
hack in
that was
and
gonna be my
change.
recommendation. I just would probably reverse engineer all of the
Hmm.
keyboard shortcuts you want from RStudio, and you can just put lang equals Python, and it's Python all lowercase.
Yeah. So like I have my little keybindings.json, it just has my snippet in it. Is there a way for me to go see what the JSON is for those other key bindings in the UI?
There is a command. I believe there's a command shift P to do keyboard shortcuts and like um open, yeah, do command shift P. Maybe I can
Oh, I found it.
do this. Yeah, it's like open keyboard shortcuts JSON.
Okay, so I did Command Shift P, and then again I just typed in keyboard, but instead of the one that was the toggle keyboard shortcuts or whatever it was this default keyboard shortcuts JSON, and that opened this, which gives you all of the like key combination, what the command is, the when clause for it. And so what we were looking at was all those RStudio ones probably have a something just like this, where it's like editor lang equals R or equals R. This could just be added to something to be equals Python. So you can reverse engineer a lot of those things. Okay, fantastic. Let's hop back over to, thank you, Anonymous Asker, for your good question. I'm gonna hop back over to Slido and have Rory. Oh, wait, Rory has a little asterisk. That means ask it for me. So Rory said, how do you find trustworthy and reliable extensions? There are an overwhelming number in the marketplace, and it's hard to know which ones to use. While we were talking about this, I will just hop over here and like we'll go look at the interfolder one. It can be really nerve-wracking. So when you click install, which like if you have a brand new one, it just says install, it's going to ask you questions usually that are like, do you trust this author? And you're going to say, I have no idea who this author is. Um, and I think that Jenny might have put in the chat that like it's vibes. I don't have any way to like go look at this person and know. Um, I'm gonna go install this one. It'll give me the question. Do you trust the publisher, Mechatroner? I don't know. This might be a perfectly trustworthy person. I'm gonna say trust publisher and install. Um, but like if you want to learn more, it's just gonna open up the security policy. It doesn't give you more info on this person. But there are other things that you can look at, right? And you can usually go find their GitHub repo and stuff like that, their changelog. You can look to see whether or not this is like a maintained thing. This clearly has lots of versions and lots of like version notes in the changelog. It has a well fleshed out like list of commands. That stuff all makes me feel better. So if there is something that makes you feel better when you are looking to install things, let me know. Um, Davis or Isabel, do you have any like other favorite extensions we can share really quickly before we hop back to Slido?
In terms of like, well, just one other thing to like make you feel better, right? Like I always look at the download count for sure. Like that, I mean, if it's over 20,000 or something, it's probably one that's fine.
Yeah.
Um, and then you said that you mentioned the GitHub link. Like if you scroll down in this marketplace section, the repository link is like almost always here. And then that'll take you straight to GitHub. You can kind of see, look at the star count, see like is it active? Does it
Yeah,
seem scary?
you can look
Um,
at
uh,
extensions, look for people that you know as well. So a lot of our Positron devs actually have made extensions, and like they like Sam made one that's also sort of like a folder one. Um, so you can look for names that you might trust. You might not always recognize them depending on what their name is on their GitHub repo. Okay, Isabel, any favorite extensions? Or Isabella or Daniel, any favorite extensions? Feel free to hop in and unmute whenever.
I work a bit with the Shiny engineering team and Garrick posts. He has a extension pack of all the stuff that he uses, and he sort of collected it all together into one giant extension pack. I put it in Discord. I'll put it in Zoom chat as well. But yeah, it's just a big collection of other packages that um, he uses. So I'll just make a plug for that. Isabella did just tell me I don't know if there's a security issue or not, so I'm gonna look into that.
Uh-oh,
But
okay.
it's like it's not something he wrote. He just collected a bunch of other packages. So I'll look under the hood. What's going on there to clarify?
Okay. Well, while we are talking about extensions that do very important things, I would love to talk about Publisher. Um, this is something that I don't use. But we had a question, we had an anonymous question in the Slido that was, how do people publish to shinyapps.io from Positron? I do all of my code editing in Positron, but end up closing the folder I was working on in Positron and then opening that folder project in RStudio only to do this since it isn't built into Positron. Edward Leland, sorry. Edward, I know who you are, I promise. There's a publishing button in Positron, and you have this like he has a link there, which I am going to copy and put into the Discord chat. Um, would anybody like to talk about publishing? I have switched away from shinyapps.io to Posit Connect Cloud. I do things in the Posit Connect Cloud UI, which means I log into it, I give it the repo, I create a manifest, I give it the manifest, and then every time I just push changes to my repo that contains my app is automatically updated and I don't even think about publishing anymore. I just push changes to my repo and my app is immediately updated. So, does anybody here use Publisher and can talk a little bit about it? Davis, do you have any? Nope, Isabel?
I do use Publisher. I don't know if it supports Shiny App.io. I do know that it works with Connect Cloud. can really quickly share. This is not a super good example because it is a Python package, but you can select like create a new deployment. We'll say we're deploying this. I don't know if I can even do that. It's fine. And then I previously did like a single sign-on, like one click, authorize to connect with cloud, and then it will automatically slurp up a lot of information. Obviously, it's not a good example, but you can click just deploy your project right here, and then on follow up, like applications for like Streamlit or Dash or Shiny and all of those, you get your little one click. It's this exact same icon in all of your Python files. It also will know things like what Python packages you're using, and it does a lot of really cool sniffing. So I also don't feel like I have to think about publishing really at all. I just kind of
Yes.
click my buttons and things magically appear on Connect Cloud. And
That
it's
is the
really
nice thing.
fast.
And if you want to know where we are looking for this publisher, you can go to your extensions and look up publisher. It's this one right here, Posit Publisher by Posit Software PBC. Nice and trustworthy. But I think that it's bundled, right? Like I've never turned this on. I didn't install it. I have always had this button.
I
Am I
actually don't
wrong?
know if I don't think it's bundled,
Someone can
but
stop me. I might have installed it and just not remembered installing it because I don't use it. Okay, but if you are curious and you want to go read this page about it, you can, which has its features and changelog and everything. Um, and then Nick, I think in the chat had said, Nathan says he thinks it is bundled. You
I
guys can
think it
stop
is,
us.
but I think it is. I just checked. Yeah.
Okay, good. You can, let me see, hold on. Let me read the chat really, really quickly. Because Sai had asked if there was a size limit for apps, like the 5 GB bundle, if you do host on Connect Cloud. What a good question. I wish we had Alex here to just like chat about Connect Cloud stuff. If this is interesting to y'all and you want to see, like I know Nick, you said that would be a good workflow to share on screen, like just pushing to your repo and having it update your app. My apps that I have are on my personal laptop. They're not on my Posit laptop, so like I can't do that here, but I would be happy to do a call like this, a like data science lab where we just talk about Connect Cloud and how that publishing works. Maybe do a little like, hey, I want to move from Shiny Apps to Connect Cloud. If that sounds exciting to you, let me know in the Discord server because I would be happy to. And we can also get our like Posit Connect Cloud people to join us and give us all the information. Um, Nick says yes. Fantastic. Sai, I do not know if there is a size limit for apps. Does anybody know? Daniel says that he doesn't remember a size limit either. But yeah, you can do Connect Cloud deploys direct from GitHub, and GitHub does have a file limit, so it could be something that you run up against on that side. All right, I'm gonna head back to Slido really quickly. Thank you so much for asking the shinyapps.io question. Um, I wanted to talk really quickly at the end here about theming. Okay, we had a couple of things on theme. And Marlene had said, is anybody using their RainGlow extension? And Nick says that he is also using it. So why don't we talk about themes for a second? Isabel, I know you have lots of like theme stuff set up. Do you change your themes frequently or do you stick to a light theme?
I am always a light theme person. But I don't have any installed right now just because working on Positron, we tend to like clear our state and get a fresh slate frequently. But there's an Arctic blue bearded something like that that any of the bearded themes I'm obsessed with. There's a good
Okay.
blueberry one. Those are my top recommendations.
Okay, excellent. Well, I searched RainGlow so that you can see rainbow RainGlow colors. And I will install this. And then it popped up to select a color theme right now. And before you click anything, whenever you do this, whenever you see themes inside of this dropdown, I would recommend just using your arrows. Like it's gonna cycle through all of these for you. I'm always a contrast person. I have low contrast vision, which makes it very hard for me to distinguish like colors from each other. So I tend to always do, oh, I'm a fan of that one. We're gonna stick with this one for right now. I'm just gonna hit enter and it's gonna apply. It's gonna ask me if I want to have that as my theme, I think. But I actually, maybe I don't want to. Oh, do I want to? No. Okay. So let's head over to our faces again so that we can say goodbye because we have 3 minutes left. Maybe we can answer one more question. Marlene says, I miss the import data set wizard from RStudio. That is something that I said Nathan had like shared about. Davis and Isabel, do you have any words of wisdom for import dataset wizard type stuff from RStudio in Positron? I guess more for Davis since this is an R thing for sure.
Or Ginny, are you listening and you know more?
Don't put Jenny on the spot 2 minutes to the
Yeah.
end of our thing. Sometimes
Yeah.
Julia is a great call out too because she'll be
Yeah.
like, I know exactly what issue we're tracking the possibility of adding this in.
Yeah,
She
right.
There
Yeah.
is an
always knows.
issue. I'll put it in the Slack right now. That was going to be my call out. Give it a thumbs up. It's 5515, so it's a fantastic number. So if you're interested in this data import wizard, we do look at top voted issues when we are prioritizing things.
Gave it a thumbs up.
All right,
Yeah,
I
a
was
thumbs up
finally
is
allowed
great.
to unmute.
There you go.
I
Hey,
was like, I felt like I was trapped. I'm like, I have something to say. Oh, this is Jenny. Yeah, we haven't done this yet. The closest thing that does exist is convert to code in the Data Explorer, which brings up a whole new thing that we haven't gotten into, nor do we have time to. But yeah, it's on the to-do list, but it just hasn't happened yet. So
no worries. The GitHub, by the way, for everybody is like the best place to go to keep track of what we're doing, of like what is getting added. And if you find an issue for a feature, go put a thumbs up on it, right? Like that gives us our best view into like what is important to people. Today was really, really fun. This is going to end up on YouTube so other people can watch it. I hope that you had a good time. Because I don't think I have like a survey set up in Zoom, I would love it if you could hop in the Discord server and send me a DM and let me know how this went. You'll have to send me a little friend request. Please feel free to hang out on the Discord. The Discord is going to be a place as we move forward where you know that anything you ask, you're asking a bunch of data people and like nobody else. Like if you put it out into Twitter, it might go nowhere, right? But everybody here will be data scientists and they will engage with you and answer your questions. I'd be happy to chat about it. Also, we're going to have more of these because this was so fun. This was an experiment. We're going to do them maybe weekly, maybe bi-weekly. I know we have a bunch of holidays coming up, so that will put a cramp in some things, but you can look forward to 2026 being a little bit more stable for us. And we will do things again like this settings, where we'll do Q&As, we'll do sharing silly projects. So Davis, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Isabel, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Would you like to say goodbye to everybody?
It was great to see
Well,
you
thanks for
all.
joining.
Thanks for coming. Yeah.